Greetings and welcome to RJC High School's 2020 Also Chapel. My name is Ryan Wood and I'm the principal of RJC High School. Welcome here. Also stands for Alternative Learning and Service Opportunities, and it's a big part of our Christian ethics program each year. Each year we set aside a week of class and go into the world to serve and learn. We often travel abroad at this time, but this year we asked students to focus on needs closer to home, wherever home might be for them. In today's chapel, we will share what we did and what we learned. The theme for this year's service week was Make Your World Beautiful, and we focused on Jesus' teachings in Matthew, where he instructs his followers to be the salt and light of the world. I'll read from Matthew 5. Jesus says, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it up on a stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before people, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." In today's chapel, we will share how our students tried to be the salt and light during this year's remote Also Week. Our Vice Principal, Carolee Cooney, with some help from her son, Ryland, cheering her on in the background, will now share some reflections on this year's Also theme. Over to you, Carolee.
Happy Also Day. I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm doing for Also. Also is my favorite time of the school year. It's like super impactful, and it's very strange to me that we have to do Also a different way. I'm just not used to it, but everything is strange right now. But I also wanted to talk to you about our Also Week theme. It really reminded me a lot of the Ransom Cafe kind of like motto. Maybe that's the wrong word for it. But the Ransom Cafe is an organization that we used to work with when we used to go to the Gulf Coast, which is how I've spent most of my Also career, is going to the Gulf Coast of the States and working either in Mississippi or Louisiana or Alabama. And Ransom Cafe is in Mobile, Alabama, and they provide kind of like a pay-what-you-can restaurant. So if you don't have money, you can go in and eat for free. If you have a little bit of money, you could pay a little bit for the same plate. Or if you have, let's say, a full-time job, you can think like, what would I pay for this meal in a restaurant? Would I pay $15? So then I'm going to offer $15. Or maybe you think, well, then I'll pay $30 and I'll pay for this other dude who's in here who may or may not have paid. So it's a really interesting program, and the creator of it, his name is Matt. He has this series of tattoos on his arm, and that's also what their logo is like. And all the students once a year would ask him, "What is your tattoo about?" So I wanted to read what it was about because I felt like it sort of interestingly fit with our theme this year. So it's these old alchemy symbols, and then one is also like the Greek XP for like Christ. And so the tattoo essentially means be salt, be light, be Jesus. So be salt. We are called to be salt in Matthew 5:13. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. Salt has two uses: to give flavor and to preserve. We're called to give flavor to and preserve and preserve the culture and people around us by being a positive, involved, Christ-like presence in our communities. However, we should also remember that too much salt is unhealthy, so while we must be salt, we should not be overbearing or pushy. Be light. We are called to be light in Matthew 5:14. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. We are to shine like a lamp, not a spotlight, so people may see this Jesus we love through our lives, as well as the love we have for others through our interactions with them. So he would often talk like, if somebody shines a flashlight in your face, you're going to be like, duh, get out of here. Like, that's offensive to my eyes. And same thing. So he always talks about being a light to the world, but more like a lamp and less like a spotlight. In 2 Corinthians 5:20, Paul tells us that we are ambassadors for Jesus. We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal through us. As ambassadors of Christ, we strive to emulate him in the way we treat people, love people, and carry ourselves on a daily basis. This is why Ransom Ministries exists. We want to be a picture of Jesus' love for everyone in our community. And I think that's why a lot of organizations that do work like Ransom Cafe or like Also Week exists, because we want to be Christ's ambassadors, right? Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is, before my son really gets mad, is that it's Mental Health Week in Canada, and so I'm going to deliver my cookie dough on foot, and that way my son and I can go outside, get some fresh air, get some sunlight, get some exercise, which are all really important things for your mental health, particularly right now since we can't access some of the other things that are really good for our mental health, like connection with other people in like a person-to-person way. So I would also encourage you to, whatever you're doing for your Also Week activity, which I know you would have done before you saw me, but if you're continuing to do things throughout the week, think of how you can incorporate those kinds of like activities that fill your cup, that are really good for your mental health, because I know it's a challenging time right now, and it can be really stressful, and staying in your bed all day and not showering and, like just living in your basement. Sometimes you need some of those days, but too many of those days in a row can be troublesome. So do something good for your mental health this week also, and I'll see you on Google Classroom.
Good morning. My name is David Epp, and I'm Vice Principal of Student Life at RJC High School. In what has become an also tradition, groups receive a sending blessing as they prepare to leave campus and serve with our also partners around the world. This time of praying together entrusts students and staff into God's care and reminds them of the value and significance of their acts of service. The blessing we share, written by Teresa of Avila, focuses on the profound idea that by serving one another we are living into our calling of being Christ's hands and feet. Please join me in prayer as we center ourselves in this also chapel. Christ has no body, a prayer of commissioning by Teresa of Avila. Christ has no body but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands, yours are the feet. Yours are the eyes, you are his body. Christ has no body now but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks compassion on this world. Christ has no body now on earth but yours.
For our Also Chapel, I chose the song, Will You Let Me Be Your Servant? It might not be an upbeat banger of a Mennonite anthem like I Sing the Mighty Power of God, or have that Easter flair of Low in the Grave He Lay, though I think those hymns deserve a special place in our hymnals, not just due to the ripping bass lines, but those songs speak of God's majesty and his centrality to our lives, an important thing to remember, to be sure, particularly in hard times like these. Will You Let Me Be Your Servant, on the other hand, is a bit more of a gentle tune, and I think that's on purpose. This hymn speaks of the way we are to act and treat one another because of Jesus being at the center of our lives, and the attitudes we need to hold accordingly. The image that comes to my mind when I sing this song is of Jesus washing the smelly, disgusting, walked 7 days through mud, filth, and who knows what else, feet of his disciples. The disciples, you may note, are shocked and almost appalled that Jesus would do this, and they protest, saying, "We should be the ones to wash your feet, Rabbi." Of course, Jesus being Jesus, and having dealt with his disciples before, says, "You're not quite getting it yet, are you? By becoming a servant, one can be truly great. The trick can be humbling ourselves both to serve others, but to accept service from them in return. So please sing along with Will You Let Me Be Your Servant? 1, 2, 3.
Will you let me be your servant? Let me be as Christ to you. Pray that I may have the grace to let you be my servant too. We are pilgrims on a journey, we are travelers on the road. We are here to help each other walk the mile and bear the load. I will hold the Christ-like for you in the night time of your fear. I will hold my hand out to you, speak the peace you long to hear. I will weep when you are weeping, when you laugh, I'll laugh with you. I will share your joy and sorrow till we've seen this journey through. When we sing to God in heaven, we shall find such harmony. Born of all we've known together, of Christ's love and agony. Will you let me be your servant? Let me be as Christ to you. Pray that I may have the grace to let you be my servant too.
Thank you, Zach. As their also project for the day, on Monday of this week, students were encouraged to make their world beautiful by picking litter or engaging in other random acts of kindness in their community. They were asked to take short pictures or videos of their activities, and we compiled them into this short video. Thank you to everyone who submitted pictures and videos.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is May 4th, and we were all supposed to be gone to our also trips, whether to British Columbia, Toronto, Calgary, or even Saskatoon. But due to the pandemic, we are unable to do so. So all of us as an RJC community, we decided to go out and collect garbages in our area or neighborhood. And my experience from this activity was amazing, because I realized that with a small thing, or by even a few minutes every day from our time, we take it out, we go and we clean our area or neighborhood where we live, it can bring a lot of difference to this world, and it can make our lives very much beautiful, and I'm very happy that I've done that. Thank you, RJ.
Thanks again to all the students and staff who did random acts of kindness and submitted those pictures and videos. After hearing about our students' actions, others were also inspired to get outside as well. A short word from Brendan at King's University in Edmonton and Matea from CMU, two of our partner educational institutions. You will also see a fuller video of grade 12 student Kate Hansen's Also project.
Hi RJC, I hear that you are participating in your community through Also Day. So my name is Brendan and I'm from the King's University, and I decided to pick garbage today in our natural area. So here's all the garbage I picked up.
Hi RJC, this is Matea from CMU. I heard that you folks were looking for opportunities to serve in your communities, and I now am also participating in Also Day by helping out my next door neighbor rake their leaves. So thank you for being so inspiring.
Food security is one of the themes that connects many of RJC's Also partners. Whether it is in Calgary with the Mustard Seed or the Drop-In Center, in the Okanagan with the Okanagan Gleaners, or Guatemala with MCC and Anadesa, many of our service partners are committed to ensuring that people in their communities have regular access to nutritious food. On Tuesday, our school gathered for a Zoom workshop in which we discussed the global food crisis and highlighted the work of organizations like the Canadian Food Grains Bank and the Good Neighbors Food Center. We noted how the COVID-19 pandemic was likely to double the number of people experiencing food insecurity around the world. We also heard updates of how COVID is affecting local food banks and what efforts are being undertaken to ensure that folks in and around Rostern have enough to eat. As always, with Also, our time ended with reflection of next steps. Part of RJC's approach to service learning is inviting students to link their values with action so that their work in the world becomes a reflection of the things they believe. Students and staff collaborated to compile this word cloud, which identifies ways in which we can take lessons that we have learned from previous Also trips, as well as from our Tuesday workshop, and join with our Also partners in working to address food security issues wherever we are. Contained within each of these suggestions and ideas is the understanding that within each of us is the capacity to respond to the challenges of the world, like food insecurity, with a sense of hope, resilience, creativity, and courage. Each of us, in our own way, can do our part to make a difference in realizing a world that is more peaceful and more just, a world in which everyone has enough to eat.
On Wednesday, we welcomed Pete Olson and his colleague Josh to join us for a live Zoom chapel with the student body from Toronto. Pete works with the MCC Tools program in downtown Toronto And since we were unable to join him this year for our Also trip, we invited him to join us in this way. It was very interesting and enlightening as he shared about how COVID-19 is affecting the most vulnerable in his city, and also to hear from students as they shared their stories and asked questions as well. It was also meaningful to connect for students who went to Toronto with Pete last year to see him again in this way and hear updates from downtown Toronto. Thanks again to our partners around the world, close to home, and in Canada, who we work with to make Also a success each and every year. It was meaningful to connect in this way. On Thursday, students met again during a live Zoom chapel, and we talked about the theme of student leadership, as well as what it means to be a servant leader. Students were asked to reflect on the life of Christ and how his actions could inspire them as they go out into their world or their communities if they're graduating, or how they, if they are in grade 10 or 11 and returning next year, may serve as servant leaders on the SRC and SCC. Just a reminder, students, please be in touch with the school if you'd like to run for those positions, as we will be hosting elections later this month. Carol has a bit to announce for those returning students. Over to you, Carol.
Hey all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol here. Just wanted to remind everyone that in order to apply for an SRC SCC position or to run in those elections, you need to submit a returning student form. And so I have emailed these to your parents, but of course you can email me. I can send them to you if that was missed. You can also get them from the SRC SCC Google Classroom. But yeah, like, get those in, guys. Like, I just dream that everyone gets them in before the elections, and that we can just look forward to a great new year. So let's make that happen. See ya.
Hi everybody. For this Also Chapel, I wanted to sing This Is My Father's World. I think it's a good song for Also Week for a few reasons. The first one is that the first couple verses are really about recognition and appreciation for the beauty of the earth. And I think that's why we do things like pick up garbage and try to make the world more beautiful, because it is a really beautiful place. And we can help that to shine and that to show if we do things like help to clean it up once in a while. The third verse of this song is quite different. It talks about how there is still lots of work to be done in this world, and it uses the phrase till earth and heaven are one. And for me, that's kind of the idea that we can make the world more like heaven, more like the way that God wants the world to be, if we put in a little bit of work. And I think that's why we care about things like food security or like homelessness, like keeping our planet clean. And that's because we want the world to be a better place and to be more like it could be, the way that God wants it to be. So please join with me in singing This Is My Father's World.
Sings and round me rings the music of the sea.
Thank you for joining us for this Also 2020 Chapel. As we go out from here, I encourage you to continue finding ways to be Christ's hands and feet and work towards making our world beautiful. Go in peace.